Okay, before I officially start the video, there are three warnings. First warning, there are spoilers. Second warning, this video contains crappy microphone quality. And third warning, Primal is very violent, very gory, and not meant for children. If you're going to dive into the show, viewer discretion is advised. Alrighty, let's dive in. Hey guys, this is JoAnn speaking here, and welcome to this video. We're starting 2026 off with the return of one of my favorite shows, Genndy Tartakovsky's Primal. It's been a long time since I've talked about this show, and I remember doing a video back in 2020 where I explained my thoughts on it, but that was during when Season 1 was still going, and Season 2 didn't exist yet until 2022. I am really behind on talking about this show. Season 3 is around the corner at the time of this recording, and there's a lot to talk about. To make up for it all, I'm going to pull up each episode from seasons 1 and 2, give out my quick and general thoughts/opinions on them, and you'll also see my Sickle Claw rating for each episode in the bottom left-hand corner. And one final warning, there are spoilers for both these two seasons. Alrighty, let's begin. Spear and Fang. Very intense and a tragic way to start the series with our two main protagonists, but it was a good setup and it lets the audience know that this show is serious. River of Snakes. We see the shaky progress of Spear and Fang working together as a team, to the point where Spear finally loses his temper, but then after a while, both him and Fang did reconcile. This goes to show that the beginnings of team-ups don't always start off so smoothly. A Cold Death. A very touching episode. I like the inclusion of woolly mammoths as well. The episode even touches on nature, the need to survive, and animals having feelings without words. Terror Under the Blood Moon. I have two favorite episodes of this season, and this is one of them. As a Raptor fan, this was a lot of fun. The color palette is intimidating yet fascinating to look at. The episode was action-packed, and had several surprises, including the appearances of those giant bats and that huge spider as well. Yeesh! Oh, and note to self, avoid the long grass. That is a lesson to be learned after watching The Lost World Jurassic Park. Rage of the Ape Men. This episode was brutal, ruthless, and bloody. This was a difficult one to sit through, especially that cliffhanger ending. At least those ape men got their payback in the form of Spear turning into a Hulk version of himself. Scent of Prey. This had me on the edge of my seat, but I still really enjoyed this episode, and it is a lot better than Rage of the Ape Men, in my opinion. The ending of it had a great comeback as well. Plague of Madness. Another favorite episode of mine besides Terror Under the Blood Moon. I've been wanting to see a zombie dinosaur in a more proper portrayal for a long time, and this episode did exactly that. It's scary, bloody, intense, and tragic. The decision to choose a sauropod as the zombie rather than just a generic carnivore was smart, and it helped the episode be more terrifying. Who wants to be chased by a dinosaur zombie that big? I surely do not want that happening to me for sure. Everything going from the start to the end was played out perfectly, in my opinion. Coven of the Darned. Out of all the episodes, this was the saddest one, for season 1 at least. I cried more than I did with episode 1 and the ending to episode 5. This tells a story about a witch named Lula, who helps Spear and Fang escape after she saw how her tragic backstory is similar to their backstories. Very creepy atmosphere, and just like the Mad Sauropod, there's not much to do with these witches other than to run. The Night Feeder. I still prefer Plague of Madness, to be honest with you, and given the nature of the Night Feeder, it could have had a design that's slightly a bit more monstrous. Other than that, it was very fun, very scary, the visuals were breathtaking, and the episode even lets the viewers see the point of view of this monster until the end, which I thought it was a cool idea. Slave of the Scorpion. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode changes everything. The world of Primal is bigger than I anticipated. Heck, when I finished watching this episode for the first time, it took me a bit to process it. As for anything else, I like the new character Mira, and the use of dialogue after 9 episodes of silence was used in a smart way, particularly in a different language. I got intrigued by what else is out there. Oh, and Spear says his first word. Now that I've gone over season 1, it's time to dip our toes into season 2. Sea of Despair. What an amazing way to start this episode. Very thrilling, fun, and it has absolutely beautiful visuals. I would not recommend if you have deep fear of the ocean, though. Even with the cliffhanger ending, this is my favorite episode of season 2. Shadow of Fate. I really enjoyed seeing Spear meeting other humans while Fang meets another member of her species. Although sadly, even with our two protagonists reuniting with each other, this episode ended on a downer ending. Dawn of Man. We get a good look at some parts of the new land Spear and Fang ended up on. Stuff including new animals, and in the progress, Spear found Mira alive. Once again, beautiful visuals. Although my only minor gripe is that given we've seen another T-Rex like Red in episode 2 living on this land, shouldn't we also see any other dinosaurs in this land as well? That's just me though, and hey, anything could happen in the world of Primal. The Red Mist. This was both disturbing and depressing all at the same time. This was a kill or be killed episode where Spear and Fang were pretty much backed into a corner after they were being repeatedly attacked while they were clearly trying to get out. The visuals even became intimidating looking after the red mist comes in. We even get to see the start of vengeance. The Primal Theory. I did not expect this at all. This is definitely a complete filler episode. Also, if this takes place in England 1890, where does the world of Primal take place? I'm asking because our main setting has not just cavemen and dinosaurs, but giant bats, ice age animals, witches, uses of magic, full-on humans, etc. Oh, and if you're very used to little to zero dialogue, you're going to be slapped in the face with this episode. But even as a filler episode, this was quite intriguing, and this felt like something straight out of an action horror movie. Vidar, we're back with Spear, Fang, and Mira after the last episode, and the good news? Fang now has another chance to be a mother. Another good episode, even with some emotional moments. I also like the battle sequence that takes place in the air. The Colossus Part 1. Oh my gosh. Just when I thought things couldn't get any crazier, there's a whole lot more out in the world of Primal. And we get our first look at a new enemy who doesn't play around. And I'm not gonna lie, that underworld sequence with the chieftain making a deal with that demonic entity was terrifying, and the music was epic as well. The Colossus Part 2. Even though this was another tough sit through for me, this episode shows more on how tyrannical that queen is, and just when you think she couldn't get any more worse, she even shows zero mercy to peaceful civilization. You can't help but to wonder how our heroes would escape this situation. And you are really gonna wish that this lady faces the consequences of her actions. The Colossus Part 3. I call this one a very satisfying, daring escape episode, as we witness our heroes, including Kamau and his daughter, break free, and we witness the queen get her payback finally. The ending was also very unsettling. Echoes of Eternity. Golly, this final episode got me emotional. While I do feel like the ending was slightly abrupt and I kinda expected a little bit more with the final battle sequence, this whole thing was bittersweet, and it was a pretty good way to end Season 2. In short, not perfect, but it's good. And there you have it. Those are my quick thoughts on all the episodes in Season 1 and Season 2. Now, all that's left is to prepare for Season 3, and oh boy, this is going to be a roller coaster. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later in another video. This had me on the edge of my seat, but I still really enjoyed the episode, and is... Oh, for gosh sake. I've been wanting to see a... Oh, for Kelly! Oh, gosh dang it!